Forget everything you know about your traditional style of games. Yep, I know, a big statement, but Arknights Enfield is a real-time strategy RPG. But while the combat is fast-paced and flashy, the real soul of this game is in the AIC. Yes, that basically means insane factory building. I'm not just gathering resources, I'm building a global supply chain through automated mining and conveyor belts. The goal? Automation. In Enfield, the factory must grow, so I can progress in the rest of the game. Whether you're an automation nerd or just here for the fun, I'm gonna stick my spin on it, as always. Quick heads up, a major update is now live, so beyond my video, you can now use hydro mining rigs to automate resources without a power grid and build new long-distance conduits. The AI system is officially expanding further than what you see. Now go and check the links in the description and the pinned comment to go and get the game yourself. And yes, it's completely free and available on PC, PlayStation 5 and mobiles. No more messing about, let's dive in. Straight from the get-go, I smash my way through some of the guided basics to get familiar with all of the controls. Ah, pretty flowers. I mean, absolutely everyone loves flowers, and I don't think you're telling the truth if you say otherwise. Well, let's get down here and see what the heck is going on. Oh, some juicy turrets coming out. I'm just plowing through till we get to those beautiful factory builds, man. Hold on, enter the past. Oh, we're about to learn something that's going on here, I am sure. Epitaph. The cosmos held by her lips is untouched by time. Beyond portals guarded by the deathly kind, she continues to wait and hide. As we continued forth, we began to try and understand the mystery that is shrouded all around us. We soon find, though, that nothing is quite as it seems. Well, Floaty Lady is not happy. Look at the size of him. Well, we got some ghosts of some kind. Looks like I'm scrapping this big boy. Enter Arignus. Don't know if I'm butchering that name. The reason, though, the world turns to ruin. This was the perfect time for me to learn more of those RPG fighting mechanics, though, before we move on. We aren't quite dead yet, but we are somehow factory reset. This must be how the great rebuild shall begin. Go forth and awaken life. I have to restart. That was a pretty epic entry into the start, wasn't it? Dragon Place, the starting point facility. Obviously, I'm Lons, right? We're waking up from what was the end. Who the hell's he got a second pair of glasses on? The supervisor got me up to speed on who I am and what the hell's going on. All of this to prepare me to get back down to the planet, it seems. Well, I am so ready to drop in, man. Valley 4 is where we're going to get this factory up and running. Now, that is a rabbit covered in flowers. I mean, kind of cool. All right, so this is going to talk me through the crafting side of this. And if you didn't know, this is obviously all the RPG elements. It's just talking me through them all. We're smashing them out. When we get to this factory, we're going to get to the point where we make it all ourselves via this huge sprawling city factory that we're going to make. We trotted over to the area where we are to set up shop for the foreseeable. But first, the place needed clearing out. Alrighty, here we go. Deploy the protocol automation core. This is the start of the factory, baby. Oh, look at this beauty. This means I'm ready. Construction is the strength of Enfield Industries made manifest. Press the hotkey to switch to AIC mode. It just wants us to place this tower down this way. Is this a power thing? Yeah, power relay. We'll place it where it says. And then we need to set power transmission from the PAC. Let's do it. So we just press F and we can draw it up to 80 meters per. So I think we can send power across the map by doing this then. There we go, plug it in. Now we start with 5 of these relay towers, a little bit of Originium ore. So I think all the factory stuff starts with that Originium ore, and conveniently we have a bunch of it over here. So Wants us to transmit power to the protocol resonance tower, though. I think we have to turn it on, do we? Start transmission. Wants us to bring it down this way. Now, wants us to also place another one of these things down. That's fine. Oh, you can do it all whilst pushing it down. So go and place the next one. Oh, I think around the maps then, that's how you power up these facilities to unlock stuff within them, maybe? And there it is. We plugged it in. Okay, so our first mission is to start getting Originium ore, which is right here. And I think these guys that we've got assigned to my team will harvest for me, which is the case. So we're going to get a bunch of this ready to then start automation, I guess. I think it's all going to be manual to get us moving first. Right, ore in hand, let's see. Okay, so now we've got a refining unit. We'll get this one in and get this placed. And this is the start. So also wants us just to place this here. I'll probably move these around, to be honest. We'll get them in though. And we have electric pylons that are required. Okay, so if we stick some of this ore in, we should be able to start refining it to get things moving. And we can, and that will make the ingots themselves. Origio crusts, that's what it makes. Well, thank you for the crusts. Let's talk to him for our next bit. Silly owl man. It was now becoming apparent that I would need to be sent around the place completing some of the story in order to progress in my main factory building. This includes exploration and, of course, more fighting. Okay, so those Origo crusts that we crafted was able to make me repair this gate. That's fine. Let's see what this is all about real quick, and then we're going to get back to the factory. That is a teleporting thing, isn't it? And you can teleport back to the base whenever I want, actually, which is handy. Alrighty, now we've done that, we've managed to get ourselves these portable rigs, which we can make. We've been given 2 automatically, which is awesome. I think I can put these babies on top of here and we'll automate at least getting some of this. We'll put one on there, one on there. Do they require power? Or are they... Nope, they just crack on. That's amazing. So when they stop... They will, sorry, when they're full, they will stop. And I believe these continue if you sign out too, which is pretty damn awesome. But this means we can get our stealth building. Right, we got ourselves a first shredder unit that we can use to make the next tier. And I believe the factories go pretty insane and you can make it basically to the point where you have, well, probably spaghettis. It's going to be hilarious. But this thing, I think that power is the blue thing. So for now, we can just test it out and stick it here. Yeah, in here, then you pick what you want it to make. That makes perfect sense. We're just going to put this in for now, and it's making the Originium powder. As our powder, let's take it back to the arsenal, eh? It turns out this step was pretty vital to the RPG side of the game, as it unlocks the use of making explosives, as well as a new shop where I could buy new gear. Right, up next, we're going to connect the bridge to our grid here. So we've got multiple, so we are fine. It's only a little bit ways away, so I need to get into there. So in order to unlock the other side of the factory elements, like the belts, so we've got obviously logistics, resourcing, production, and power. We have no logistics until we get this done, so that is the plan. There we go, all the way in. We should be good. We've got far enough to get ourselves one of these sub-PACs, which is another little base. And this is now showing me the basic outputs here that we can feed in. Cool, time to learn about the belts then. The refining unit nearby has inward arrows at the side of its base. These mark the input ports for the facility. The direction of these arrows are fixed. Nice. Connecting a transport belt from the sub-PAC output port to the refining unit input port will automatically move the Originium ore to the depot. So from the depot to the said refining unit. So we just move this around. We confirm the starting point and then we slap it into the end point. Oh, look at that. We have first tiniest bit of automation. Okay, and then we got to feed it out. Sorry, back out of this one when it's created the ore to put it back into the storage. Makes perfect sense. There we go. Look, so the ores are going in. They're refining into the ingots. And then inside of here, we get to see the goodies. All right, here we go. So logistically wise, we can see the left and right. That's perfect. I don't think there's any crazy stuff we'll have to do at the moment from like multiple to one and all that sort of jazz, but that's good to know. Right, up next, we want to create a combat. Oh, okay. The gun tower is a simple yet effective combat facility that can automatically attack enemies within range. Right, we're going to construct 3 of these babies then. Looks like we can stick a gun tower then within range of this, right? So we'll need an electric pylon to feed towards these. Is that the right one? This is the right one. And then we should be able to connect this in. There we go. We're connected in. So that means we officially have this little outpost that has the little guns set up. That's awesome. For learning about the basics of turrets, I was able to enjoy them shredding up anything that tried to attack the outpost. Wow, so there's a whole prosperity system in outpost management on this. So that is insane. So there's quite a lot to think about on that. But I want to just focus on my main factory mostly. So it's really good to know. And we will feed all this in to bring it in. Because I think a lot of this you can set up at your outpost to then feed back. But I need to get more into that. And that is done by I'm going to press Y here. We have this whole tab for it. Each region needs to be leveled up and stuff. It looks like the belt. So we're back at our base after flying through a few things, killing some bosses, all that beautiful jazz. But it looks like we can get some of this going. So what do we need to construct these? Okay, so if we get a couple of refining units, let's get those guys in. Going to want a couple of shredding units. And then we'll get these kind of relayed in as well. So the transport belt is good. Going to move a few of these about then. Let's just put them separate a second because they are shredding. So we'll have input and output pretty close so we know what we're doing. And then hopefully I'm thinking we'll eventually have a way to get from these miners into these guys so it's automated as well. Because for now, I am going to have to put it in manually. There we go. We got that basic setup in here. That should come back in. And then when you quick stash stuff into your base, it automatically comes in here. So that has now rotated around to get into this bit. And then we can also do the same for the shredder unit. So we'll have to choose an output for this one. And that's going to be the Origio crust, which is then going to come into this shredder unit. And then from the shredder unit, we're going to bring this into there. So we'll have all of this automated. And if I open my inventory now, we can see that it all comes into here. Look, the numbers should tick up now. So we've got Origio crust coming in. And then we've got that Originium powder coming in as well off the back of Originium ore. Now, as it stands, oh, this is clogged. It shouldn't be clogged in a moment. That should be all right. Yeah, we're good. We're going to have to obviously find a way to get these across. We have access to the actual mining and outpost upgrades now and researches, which is awesome. The AIC factory plan gives a detailed display of AIC technology and development tree. The tree goes from top to bottom with every node representing AIC technology. All right, we're divided into phases and all that sort of stuff. And then it's got what we have already unlocked down here. And we're going to go for mining 2, which is a bigger one, right? This constructs the electric mining rigs. They're belt-free transfer to deliver ore directly to the depot. Oh, that's huge. Okay, and in order to unlock research points, we need to find these things around the map, the little floaty men. I actually already see one at the top there as well. I've seen a couple of these floating around. There's also one over there. So these are what are used to gain the points that we need. Before I start upgrading, I'm actually going to go and grab this one as well. Oh, there's a new ore up here. Okay, that's good to know. All right, let's do it. Mining 2. We're going to research this one. So if we now go into our facility list then, we already have 13 electric mining rigs anyway. So if we come on over here, we should be able to stick these new things down. And then we can get one of these straight on top. So we'll have to power that one up. Let's get rid of this one too. It is clogged also. We'll turn it off. Claim. Stash. Boom. Okay. We'll get ourselves... Actually, I think I can connect these in directly from here anyway. There we go. And we'll get electric pylon in there. So that should connect all these up. And these will automatically now, I believe, send to our inventory. So if we open our bag, whilst we're in our AIC area, you see this depot here. So they should automatically be going into here. They're going to get consumed, but I'm going to stick all of that into our base here. So we now have a flow from those 2 drills to power these permanently. So these guys will continually flow in and out. Oh, we've got to go up to the amethyst ore mining spots and get some up there as well. All right, what we'll do is drag the power cable over then. There's quite a few here. This is good. We'll get a few on each of these, and this is going to be used for our next craft, right? All right, we've got 2 there, and we'll get this one set up as well. So I think we either need to bring it from the pylon, which I'll do from here, and we'll get just a little relay, because we can get more mines here anyway, right? Looks like we're going to be able to fit 2 more, so... But I don't have enough craft... Yeah, I do. Let's get 1 there, and then we'll get one of these guys to cover these as well. Boom. So we'll have 4 of those mines on the go. And there it is. Look at that. We actually need probably a couple more of these mines then. So before we do anything further, I want to get a baseline of these. So let's see if I can fit them anywhere else. All right, I have everything it's asked for. So we've got Originium ore, we got Amethyst ore. It looks like we've got to give it away. I've just turned these off for a second whilst we continue this on to unlock some more. But before we do that, let's have a quick look. Gearing tech. Research this to construct gearing units. The gearing unit can assemble materials to make products such as amethyst components, amethyst bottles, and amethyst parts. This components, parts, and thingies is what we're going to need. And then over this side, we have a wilderness aid. This constructs medical towers with the power supply can restore the HP. Okay, field stash. Protocol stash can be used to store items when powered. This facility can instantly transfer items to the depot. That's kind of cool. We need to go around collecting some of these things then. I think I'm going to research this thing though that it's asking for, the gearing tech. Right, now that we've got these unlocked, we have now been taught how to make gear, which is what we're going to go through right now. And now we've unlocked this top view as well. So if we press caps lock, we can see and build via this. So we've got these blueprints too. Let me just show you a second. So if we come in, press F1 whilst we're in, we get the system blueprints. You can also get shared blueprints if you save them, and your own blueprints as well. You can have up to 100, and these will basically get all the units that you need to create this. So as you can see, we want to fit them on the output areas here. So if I'm being sensible, we would have these here and then a storage. So I'm going to try this. And this includes everything we'd need to power this as well. And as you can see, we'll go into each node here. So this one's the Originium ore, and that'll output to there. This one is the amethyst ore. Then we've got that making the Origio crust. This one making the the amethyst fiber. They're all such a mouthful. And then from that we can make amethyst components. And there's one thing we need to unlock, right? And I'm just going to come in. They want to recommend the components here, but there's actually one thing I want to grab. And it's the field stash, I think it is. So we can grab that. So we need to get the research floaty men. We're going to come out, and that's it there. Like, you can place it manually myself as well, or I can do it via that blueprint view. And essentially what these components are then used for is that right there to make gear. Right, whilst we wait for that to tick up a little bit, let's go find ourselves some of these points with the floaty men. Oh, I found another Originium mining spot here as well. We probably want to set this up then. And boom, we've connected these in, so that's good mining. Let's get back to collecting up some more points. Alright, let's get our unlocks done. I think I managed to find 4. Oh no, I got 5, so that's really good. But I did see to go on to basic AIC 2 in order to get some pretty big stuff like belt splitting and all the new packaging tech and all that. We do actually need to do more missions. So for now, we're going to focus on getting this fully operational. And look, we're going to need more amethyst. So we're going to do amethyst fiber into the bottle. So we're going to do one at a time. Before I get into the next one, I am going to do that because you get one. Although I do think we want to feed this back around. So there's input, isn't there? Yeah, let's do that. So ignore the start of what is going to be old spaghetti here. But we're just going to feed that in for now. So we can unblock this one. So that essentially is going to keep producing those and finish the mission for us anyway. I was a bit clogged up, so we'll put those back in. Now we're going to need an output of amethyst, which is going to be this one right here. So we're going to say amethyst ore. And we're going to need 1 refining unit, although we should probably make... Oh, I've got one already. And we'll send that in. So this is going to make amethyst fiber, which is perfect. And then from that amethyst fiber, we're going to make the old shredder stuff. So we're going to make the bottles, right? Which requires 2 fiber to go to 1 amethyst bottle. And I think we can just straight up connect that in. Boom. And then we'll get the storages to do this. So we'll need some power. Again, we'll just get in a pylon next to it, I think is okay. And that's the start of this. So hopefully the molding unit will kick in as soon as they start coming out. There it is. We'll get the bottles going. So what we need to keep an eye on because of that. Oh, make a gear assembly. We need to change and make the minor overalls. So hopefully you get the picture now. You craft all your gear and sets based on what our factory can produce, which is pretty damn awesome, I think. Okay, so we've given over the overalls for that mission. Now we're going to do into parts fitting, which I believe we did do, right? Oh, the next one is parts fitting. We'll get this one researched in a moment. What I'm going to do before we go any further is actually feed this stuff back in as well, just so we have quite a few of those pumping through. So we've got those bottles coming in. Let's open this. Are we... Okay, we've got 1.19k of these. We're looking good. Actually getting good numbers of everything coming in. That's great. So we want a nice baseline, right? It is time to get that upgrade in, though. That is going to be the parts fitting. So it produces amethyst parts. Let's research. So I got myself a fitting unit, which is great. So I should be able to place this thing straight in. I'm just going to put it here a second just to see what it needs. So we'll go into the recipes down here. And this requires... Oh, that is nice and easy. It's just these fibers. What we can do then is come into the top view. This fitting unit could go... Oh, this is a little bit messy, isn't it? Let's go in here. Maybe next to it there. And what we can do is feed this. Oh, it needs to be turned around. The only thing I wish there was a better indicator on the way around for sure. We'll bring this into there. And that should start to then automatically make these guys once that comes in. And then we'll work these around. Looks like we're going to have to bring them all the way back through this section actually. So we're going to come around this way. It's already becoming spaghetti. There we go. And we are now producing these lovely fitting module units, I believe. There they are, going all the way back through. All right, let's give these amethyst parts over to Andre so we can continue this on. Okay, basic expansion core. Open the AIC factory plans and use this at the basic AIC plan to unlock a new phase of basic AIC. Lets you expand the index to research more tech. Right, that's in here then. So we have one. We've been given one through the main storyline because I have progressed enough. And look at this, basic AIC 2. Now that does mean multiple things. Belt splitting, solid filling, package tech. Holy crap. More power. Area denial. Okay, I'll probably go through each tier first to make sure we're doing it, but we're good. After hitting this little milestone, I then had to go out fighting and figuring out some puzzles in order to progress myself a little further. I was getting all of this done as later on, this allows us to get into the next tier, and the leveling up is a must to get there. It also unlocks this stuff like crafting goals for gear and weapons. Up next, I quickly searched online for a nice interactive map that would help me get those glorious floaty man points to unlock the rest of the buildings. Right, I've officially grabbed all of the little unlock points. So we have 11 sat in. So it turns out you can see them on the map as well when you open them, so you'll no longer see. We've got 3 regions unlocked at the moment. I collected every single one that you can get from these areas. And that means we'll have everything we need to unlock. So we've got a few recommended, and I want to get into them. This medical tower would be pretty handy, but protocol stashes would help us with flows, I think. So I'm going to research that one. And we are going to go into what it's asking for here. So power number 1. This constructs thermal banks that consume iridium ore or batteries to generate power. Let's get that one. I am going to come out and make sure we can do that. So we should have some of these. One thermal bank we have in play. So we want to place one of these. I'm going to move it about once we have it. So when we craft batteries, you essentially put them inside of this and it generates more power. And the batteries themselves, or iridium ore. So if we feed iridium ore into this little sucker right here, we should be good. I don't have any outputs other than to split a belt though. So for now, I'm going to stick this out of the way. It's not something we need yet, and we're going to unlock the next thing. Up next, a recommendation is packaging tech. Constructs packaging units, can package materials to make better products such as LC Valley batteries. There you go. Acatine powder is not something we have either. What else do we have then before we get onto that? Refilling units can fill containers to make products such as buck capsules and canned citron. Yeah, I can't do any of those yet. Now, belt splitters is something we can use, so we're going to get that one unlocked as well, and that means we'll be able to feed from these guys to continue on. Is that quicker belts as well? Bridges allows me crossover intersection. That's cool. as we're pretty full. So we have lots produced. We've literally maxed out at 8k of everything right now. So it's pretty nuts. So this packaging unit then, to create the LC Valley battery, we actually have all the ingredients for this. So we need amethyst part plus originium powder, and that will create LC Valley battery. So let's go on in. And we're going to bring this into this power connector here, and we're going to force some of these guys to feed into this with a belt splitter. So we're going to rotate that, and we're going to rotate it in a way that sends it two-way. There we go. So that should feed one into the packaging unit as well as feed one across to this. The packaging unit is taking that in, and then we need to get in some of the powder. So we're going to send one of these splitters out this way and hopefully bring this around. We're going to need the bridge tech here. Oh, are you ready for spaghetti? All right, let's go in. We are going to unlock belt bridging now as well, so I can get this across. This is where it's hilarious. Okay, I think we just stick it straight over the top. Allows a transport belt to go over another without disrupting the flow of the other one. Okay, so we go belt bridge there. And then we should be able to continue this, followed by a belt bridge and another belt bridge. That should send into my packaging unit now. So let's go look at this from the floor. This is insane. So we're taking out from here via the splitter. Hopefully that's the right ore. Yep, it's working because we were full on that anyway, feeding back in. That's going all the way across and through into our shredder unit, into our, what's it called, unit here. And that's the LC Valley bat. Oh, it's the wrong one. No. So it's actually this ore right here, which is feeding into this beauty. We do have an output here, which we destroyed. So we're going to need a splitter. Oh, the bridge works like this if you just do it automatically. That's awesome. I don't think I'm going to have to go all the way around and then in. And there we have it. So that should bridge us across, although it is affecting my refining unit. So that's still working. It is. It's just full. Okay, here they come. So this now I'm going to need to go back into the other packaging units. It's quite fun learning these types of things, isn't it? And then remove these guys. That should feed in. Yep, there we go. It is going in. We need to get up to 10 though, so it's going to take some time. But that is LC Valley batteries now. And then we can feed the batteries back into storage here just for now. Obviously, all of this needs to get refined and tidied up at some point. But the whole point is we get production chains going for everything, because all of that is required for the gear to go and fight better stuff, right? That's the ultimate goal. Alrighty, with that in mind then, the next up is the filling units to fill containers. Let's research that one. And it looks like we have our very first battery coming in as well that has been created. That's awesome. So these protocol stash items, once you've placed them down, for reference guys, it's these little things. These will every 8 seconds transfer from here back to the Valley Depot. So you can put items into this directly feeding from other things for that to work as well. And you can obviously feed out from this. There is this other mode, which is storage mode. I can just dump things into there when it pushes in as an additional storage, which for now we've got the need to do. So I'm just going to drop these guys off. And we have this filling unit. So I'm going to place this down and then we're going to look into what is required. So we're going to bring open this formula. Okay, citromum bottles or buckflower powder and amethyst bottles, which can make buck capsules, which are better healing. These are both healing items, right? Which are also very important. Okay, and now I'm just opening the research tree, and actually to make those healing components, I see that we have this basic unlock here of planting. This is huge. So now we should be able to grow our own things and then from that feed them in. Planting unit can grow seeds of common plants and raise them to maturity. So buckflower into buckflowers grown from buckflower seeds in the planting unit. That's amazing. So if we wanted to get one of these going, we can set up seed or a bit of a power thing for this. I'm going to go ahead and move the filling unit, and we're going to start our own little factory for the filling unit this end as well. This is really important because, as I say, this is going to give us the ingredients we need for better heals. So if we place a buckflower in here, look, it looks like every... Oh, we need to power it. Let's get power in. And we'll place this somewhere here to power all of these. Now, every 2 seconds, you get one buckflower seed. So that's the seed picking unit, which makes sense. Then we need the planter. So we'll place a planting unit that then can feed into this, which I'm going to come into the other way. We're going to take some of these seeds. So we'll claim those out of there. We're going to go to the planting machine, chuck one in. So we're going to need multiple. This pushes out buckflower. Ah, this is amazing. And then that buck flower needs to feed across from the planting unit into the seed picking unit. But it doesn't need to do loads. And I'm just thinking, actually, we probably don't want too many of those. So I'm just going to stash that production line a second. Do we need to feed that back across? So this is like a continual loop. Let's try this because I feel like that might be the case. And let's get this in a way that this would work a bit better. All right, we're going to feed this around. So seeds are going to come out. They're going to plant and come back around to make seeds. And then eventually from the filling unit, we're going to take the buck flower powder that we're going to need to make via a refining unit. And the refining unit can make carbon from the buck flower. So we've got to make carbon for one thing. We've got to make the medicine for another. But that is handcrafted. So what I'm going to do is actually feed out some buckwheat into this guy. So what we need to happen basically, because one of these makes 2 buck flower seed, we need this to kind of process until they're both completely full. And then eventually we'll have buck flower coming out, going into our automation core. And then from there, I should be able to use that for refining and also then into the filling unit, which is for my buck flower powder. I just need to figure out a way to make the buck flower powder, which I imagine is the shredding unit. I'm just going to open up the formulas here. Yep, that is correct. So 1 buck flower makes 2 buck flower powder. So I'm going to take a production line here and I'm going to try and get this all the way out. Be ready for pure spaghetti junction here. So we need a splitter like that. And then we can continue these guys on, hopefully, with a bridge around this. All the way around into... Oh, can I go this way, actually? I can't. So we're going to just move this filling unit out of the way. We're going to bring the shredder unit over and put it in there. And now this shredder unit should start to make some buck flower. Oh, I need to put the batteries in, though, now. So what we're going to have to do is... There is no output that's spare from our core. So I need to go put some thermal bank batteries in. So in order to do this, what we're going to do is remove this whole production chain from the batteries, and we are going to bring over these guys. So we're going to feed this out into the protocol stash. We're going to say storage mode, but then we're going to feed out of the belt into the extra power generator like that. And hopefully that should increase our power rate. Let's see. Yes, there we go. 420. So as long as this gets batteries in, we should be able to increase this. Now, I'm not sure. Okay, about 40 seconds one battery lasts. So I can just come into my main storage and take those batteries out and chuck them in here. Boom. There we go. So we got a really good power amount. And hopefully we should be able to get this moving. And I'm going to move this power node over here. So all of this is powered. And we're going to see this now start to create us a constant flow of medicine. Because healing is a bit of an issue, actually, I've noticed when I'm fighting. I've been dying and all sorts going around. And this is going to change everything. And I need to do the same for Citrome now. So we need a whole Citrome setup. This is really messy. So I probably do tidying this one up. And by tidying up, I need to do this. And we're going to delete this whole stash line here, including that one. And we're going to feed out just like that. Nice and tidy. So this shredder unit, we need to get the power back in. And I'm going to set this up a few times. So we'll get that in there. This one needs to move. Move you down there for a moment. And then, so let me just reiterate that. We've got the bush making seeds, that then feeding back into the bush. So we get multiplies. And then eventually coming back to make the buck flower powder. And then buck flower powder we're going to go in. So we have a permanent access to healing now. Now, as you can see, if I come out, the factory is already getting pretty absurd. Everything's going to be tired and full. But if we open up, I think our Valley Depot is super full, actually. We can't do too much here. Actually, I'm going to come out one step further, and from the shredding unit, I think if we come into the refining unit, we can then turn that into something. So I could split them out once we have more buck flower to start making carbon as well, but we want a separate production chain for that. And we are going to go through and pretty much do the same thing. So resource-wise, we've got the production chain. Let's get our seed picking unit and planting unit in. And we are going to take the Citrome. I'm going to stick that in. Oh, we need the Citrome seed. So they're going to feed out, into this guy. So Citrome will make Citrome seed. We're going to feed the seed from that one into this guy. And then output to input, we're going to come all the way around. Ugly spaghetti junctions back in. And we're going to bring the power generator over to fit there. And we're going to stick our shredder unit in. After a quick tidy up, right, we made some room. Can I fit the shredder unit in? Look at this feeding of the seeds now. That one moves way quicker. And I think what we'll need to do actually output wise, we need it to be the plants themselves. So we're going to want a splitter in this section. And that should feed into here, right? Let's just see. And there we go. We are officially making citrone powder. And off the back of that, we're going to get a protocol stash. We're going to bring these guys in. Oh, must be within the core AIC area. We're going to need to change this. There it is. And we are making the citrone powder now. Look at this beautiful thing. It's already getting out of hand. Oh, I love it though, because we're getting the baseline of each ingredient setup. It's not the tidiest. I don't care. I love a good spaghetti factory. Well, as you can see, we are full to the brim. Let me just show you. This is hilarious just because I didn't record for a couple of days. Oh, we have 8K. We have 8K of this beauty. So I'm going to take 50 of them for now. And we can obviously... So what you can do is attach those to our characters and they'll automatically heal when we're in fights and stuff. But one of the main things we want to do is actually craft. I do need to do this unlock and move a bit of this around. It's actually wild what's going on in here, but there are some crafting bits that we need to sort. Right, so as we've leveled up a bit as well, we have unlocked some gear, and this is exactly why we do all the crafting, right? So there's amethyst components. We can start making better gear packs and stuff. We actually have sets, like there's whole heavy gear sets which only require these. We can do exactly that. We can make us tanky with strength and agility, damage reduction and all that sort of stuff. There's also non-gear sets that unlock stuff as well, some basic bits, but it makes sense to get the sets, right? So from there, look, I can put on this full kit, it looks like. So you get the alloy plate, which increases quite a bit of stuff, to be fair. And this will allow us to continue through the story, because actually I'm at the point where I've unlocked a load of stuff and the story is quite hard to continue. So this adds our attack and stuff, keeps us alive for a while. And then we can go ahead and hopefully stick on that heavy unit. That gives us slightly less HP, but attack, defense, strength, agility, all of the resistances go up quite a bit, so it's worth doing. And that's the full set then. As you can see over here, the effects, a 3-piece set effect where HP plus 500, so you get a big boost anyway. After the wearer defeats an enemy, the wearer restores 100 HP. And there we go. Now we have all of that in. It's time to come on into the tree now. And this one gives us depot loaders and unloaders. So we're going to have to kind of jig our things around, but that's okay. I've got to go off and do a mission or two to actually get down to the final tier of the factories as well. But I'm going to research this one. Oh, no, I can't. I've got to do mission progress, so we can't do that one. Yeah, so our next step then is to continue on with the missions through authority level. I had got as far as I could with what I had, so it was now time to secure me a chunky amount of XP by going out exploring and completing more missions. Well, just like that, look, we've raised the refugee camp level whilst trying to do a bit of leveling too, which is awesome. So that means we can do more regional development. Right, so now it is level 2. Look, you can switch goods. Look at what we can make. And then there's they're asking for particular things. So we'd have to set up a little bit of a production chain to get buck capsule over to them. Oh, look at this. So now we've got far enough. We get incursions that can attack our outposts as well. This is where you need to get your turrets up. That makes sense. All right, we've got a battle coming. We'll deal with this real quick though anyway. It shouldn't be a problem. We got the gun towers. We made quick work of multiple defenses to the outpost by trying out all our new gear and the turrets on offer. Essential once again for us to progress the factory and the story. So I've been spending an unhealthy amount of time learning quite a bit about the game. I'm not quite to that top level yet, but this new guy is over here that allows us, and let me just quickly show you him and then I'll show you what I've redone with the factory. So this little guy essentially allows us to expand. So we're in this small area. The next expansion comes to here. And then you can put in depot buses as well, which act as areas for multiple resources to come out. So you've got extra deployable bits. And area expansion requires the credits, right? Which are easy enough to get. You get those from completing missions and on the outposts and all that sort of stuff. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I've been working on it. And I've got this going. It is almost a perfect factory in the way that, well, we've got a bit of a manual battery thing just here where I'm manually putting the power in, but everything else is combined and ready. So we've got all the basics. Now, the only difference is this one will be something else called ferrium or something like that on the research that I've been doing. And it's used to, so if I just come into the gearing unit, used to make different things in there eventually when we unlock it, but it requires more on the story to get to. But I'm going to show you where. So we have something called blueprints now. I've actually found a website that gives you a full blueprint list, and it tells you the creator that did it. So I'm just going to pop that up now. And on here, called mobalytics.gg, and it's the blueprints for Arknights Enfield. And as you go through, it literally has all the codes down here and a basic layout of everything. Obviously, you need to have them unlocked to be able to do them anyway. And there's this particular one that is really, really awesome for anyone that is pretty rubbish at making factories, basically. And there's where I found out about the ferrium. So I've been doing a bit of research, but there it is, full early game blueprint. The code is right here, and it basically just adds on top of your AIC unit and does all of the basic crafting for you, pretty much just making sure that you set up everything, obviously, afterwards. So this little website is awesome. There's some later game ones as well. There's so many on here. It's fantastic. So if you're like me and your brain goes to mush on factory games sometimes when it starts to get a little bit more complex, this is the thing for you. And yeah, this is the result of it in game. So everything is good. And we have started making explosives, which is awesome. And explosives can now be used. I can throw them at people. So all of this is pretty damn cool. Now I've got to spend a mammoth amount of time getting to a point where I can show you a little bit more. But this is a really cool factory setup, at least I think so far. So I'm quite happy with it, and it looks awesome. Now, some of the next unlocks I've done. So I've got this pylon relaying. This was the depot bus that we unlocked. It required a bit of story missions to get to, but I've done pylon relaying. Essentially allows personal, smaller power setup, so I don't have to trunk it all the way from the base. And then up next, we've got the Wilderness Aid, which is a medical tower. So it allows us to construct medical towers with a power supply can restore the HP of active operators in the team. So we'll get Wilderness Aid as something we can unlock as well. Then next it wants the field mobility. This is the last of our AIC index unlock points that we can do anyway, but this is zipline pylon. So we can, the zip lines that are already on the map to get around, I can now create my own via this. So that is super cool. But other than that, there's not much more I need from this route, and I'm going to get to a point where I can pretty much do everything, and then we'll do a giant blueprint, and then you can see what sort of crazy factory we have. Alrighty, so I am lucky enough to be able to grind and fast forward to the kindness of everyone to this huge setup with all of these depots and a huge factory area to build with. So we have a lot to play with. We are good. Let's open up the tree here. We have all the points. So all tier 2 is unlocked and ready to go, and one into tier 3. And that includes belt converging. So belt converging allows up to 3 belts to merge into a single belt. So if something requires 3 resources, it'll send it all in via 1 output, which is huge, to be honest. Is exactly what you need with the limited amount of outputs you can do as well. Down here, you'll see there's electric mining Mark 2 rigs, which is mining 3. So belt 3 transfer to deliver ore directly to the deposit and allows us to get the ferrium ore. We'll go ahead and unlock that one as well. Obviously, I have the points, so we can go through anyway. So we need to get ourselves some of that ferrium. The other ones are relay distribution. We've got grinding units. The grinding unit can grind material to make products such as dense originium powder. Okay, what else do we have? We have custom defense heavy gun towers. Okay, self-explanatory. Omnidirectional sonic towers. When powered, the tower periodically stun enemies. So it sounds like this is all, yeah, it's the combat tree anyway, isn't it? So that doesn't necessarily matter too much. And then exploration. You've got the zip lines as well, so we'll get these in. The main ones, though, through processing are going to be these. So we'll get the grinding units. So this will allow us to build a mega factory with this. And once we're done in this Valley 4 area, I'm going to show you the Wuling area as well, because actually it's quite different. So what I'm going to do is manually get out my factory basics done for you guys, so we're ready to rock and roll into some of the new stuff. So on we went, placing and forging our own little factory once again. But this time, thinking about a slightly better placement throughout, because this would allow us for better expansion into some of the later game resources. It's also worth noting that you probably realised by now, I am no expert at factory games at all, and I know I've said it a few times, but that is the beauty of them, right? You get to learn it all as you go, make mistakes, strip it down and rebuild. The beautiful thing is, in Arknights, you don't have to worry about resources when you strip it down either, you get it all back. So, got somewhat basic factory up and running with all our basic resources, bar the explosives this time, because I'm going to go without them at the moment. And we're going to go a little bit further. So we got all our battery power in and we are good. So we're essentially going to get one of these grinding units down. I'm going to just pop it this way a second, just so we can kind of figure out what we're doing, and then we can have a play. So I'm going to come into this grinding unit, and this is where my spaghetti will get out of hand again, but that's okay. We're just going to play through a couple of the different things we can get. And actually, we need to get a sand leaf setup going, which is nice and easy. So I'm going to get sand leaf. I actually don't have any sand leaves, so I'm going to quickly go out and grab some so I can get that production chain all up and running. After pottering about for a little bit, I did manage to find some out in the wilderness after a little bit of searching. Right, I got my goodies. So in here, then I should be able to stuff these in. There's my sand leaf. We'll put all of those in just to start getting the sand leaf seeds out. And this will be our next thingy. I got some acatine if we want to do the explosives again as well. And then these should feed into this planting unit. And then we'll set that infinite loop just to bring them back out. So we've got permanent planting, permanent seed picking. So we make all of those, and then we can carry on feeding this stuff in when we need it, which we should be able to do now. So the idea is to feed these in. So we'll go from the seed picking to planting again. And then those sandleaf seeds should come out into here to make sandleaf powder. That powder should then come into the packaging unit and we should be good. So this packaging unit, I'm hoping, will be making the correct stuff. Sorry, not the packaging unit. We need to bring it this way, don't we, to make our lovely bits. So anything we have in here now, we're going to have a little look. I'm going to need to set up both kind of things to get this moving. So all I need to do now is feed some of the ingredients to make some of the better, further ones we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of that done. Now I'm just going to move all this around because I've messed up a little bit. So I'm just going to make room to bring out from the shredding unit out this way. So we're going to come over with the bridge unit. And then I'm going to come straight up through the middle, allowing room to bridge through. And this is going to come all the way around into my grinding unit. And then we're going to get another one coming out from here and down into our grinding unit as well. And we'll need to get power up for this, but that should be everything we need to make the dense originium powder. Now, obviously, all of this is just to get moving on the later game kind of units and items. I just want to get a bit of a flow going, that's all. So we should see this come in. So we'll get these reconnected up so there's a full flow of them. And there we go, that should be good. We've got planting, seeding, and planting back up. So all of this is going to feed into this grinding unit now. And as you see, we've got the dense originium powder coming out. So what I'm going to do is put this straight into the automation core. Now, when I want to split out from these guys, we should be good. So what we're going to do is just open the dense originium powder setup here. And then from here, you can kind of see what you can make. You've got the HC Valley batteries. You've got the LC Wuling batteries, which is a separate factory. But then you've also got the dense origio crust powder, which is probably what we're going to do. So we're going to split this off. So I'm going to grab me a little splitter here, a little refining unit, and move these over. And then we'll bring that in. And then from here, I should be able to make that beautiful dense origio crisp powder. It's going to take some time for this to get in anyway, and I've missed a step here, so I'm going to get rid of this line. This is what I love about it, just have a bit of a play. And this actually needs to come into the shredder unit first, then the powder needs to be the one that comes into the grinding unit. So I'm just going to clear out all of my stuff, and then we'll stuff in the powder that we do have, and then that should make them. There we go. I was wondering why they weren't coming out. And now we should see a good flow of those coming in. So we were just missing that one step. So right, it was actually needed to make into the powder from the beautiful sand leaf into this sand leaf powder. Nice, there's a full setup. And then this refining unit is going to make the glorious dense origio crust for us to put into the automation core as well. We'll get this electric pylon. I think I need to keep that there actually. And I'm going to just stick another pylon down this side. Probably just put it there, and there we have it. So some of the latest game stuff within this factory area all done. Power consumption has exceeded though. Oh, our battery is struggling, isn't it? That's fine. We have batteries in store. All good. We got plenty of room on the power now, up to 520, so we can fit some more stuff in. And if I do this, I'd have to just scale the battery production itself, that's all. Okay, so with that in mind then, some of the later stuff that we did grab, even now, are ready to go in. And the grinding units basically is the final one. So those grinding units, like I was saying, there are multiple other recipes that we'd need to grab from here. So if we open the recipe tab here, we can see some pretty mass ones here. All of this we can do anyway. Amethyst powder, we've got plenty of purple if we want to go down that route. And that is the cryston powder. There's dense carbon powder. I'm not actually making carbon. Dense ferrium powder as well. And then it looks like some ground citrone powder. So if we open the recipes for ground citrone powder, you'll see that they're then used for canned citrone between steel bottles and ground citrone powder. So you can kind of see the scale. Each one has a new kind of area it's going to go. But we are going to fast forward and go into the next zone. Now I've showed off majority of this area factory, and we're going to get into the fluid controls in the next zone. So I will see you in a minute. Well, here we are. We have officially arrived in the Wuling side. So region overview, Wuling City, and I know nothing about this one, so we're going to get started. After a brief bit of travel, we hit the city of Wuling, which was honestly quite the epic place for sure. Look, I've reached finally, after battling my way through the city. The city was pretty damn cool. I have found my way to the Wuling City AIC area. Let's do this. Deploy the pack at the marked location. Alright, looks like the Wuling AIC has a completely separate tree as well. A little bit smaller, but it's all to do with liquid. So we're going to get stuck deep into this. I've only got 2 Wuling AIC indexes to get unlocked, but we'll give it a go. So several Wuling AIC plant technologies have already been researched. Click here for details. Research this to construct the fluid pump when connected to the power grid. The fluid pump can extract fluids from a nearby source. Alrighty, so we're going to get to build out this one in a moment. I will go through it and just have a quick look. Let's take a look through the tree ourselves then. The recommendation is the reactor crucible. I believe there's so many factories and stuff you can do, which is awesome. So we'll get stuck into some of the basics in a moment. Alrighty, select fluid pump to construct it. There we go. We got our first fluid one. Fluid supply unit as well. We'll get that sucker in. And now it looks like we have to physically go here to place the fluid pump and the fluid supply unit and start transporting the fluid. Okay, this is pretty cool. So we need to go into my build list. Oh, wrong one. We need to go AIC mode, and then we run it over. You have to actually start at the place to do it. It looks like you put multiple pumps across this river to do it, and then we need to place the other one just over here. Okay, there we go. 2 opposite each other. In Wuling, pipelines can be used to transport fluids. Press Q or Alt. Nice. So we go via this into this. Boom. So we got our first pipe going across there. Look. Alright, Zyronite relays are exclusive to the region of Wuling. When placed outside the core AIC area, they auto-connect to the pack and any Zyronite power facilities within an 80-meter radius, but cannot connect to other power facilities within the core AIC area. When placed inside the core AIC area, they only auto-connect to the pack. Right, we've just picked up the Zyronite pylon, so we're going to plop one of these then. Should power these 2 pumps together. There we go. And that gives us clean water. I see it going through the pipe. That fills up this canal then with water. I see it slowly going up. Very nice. I'm assuming this will allow us to get to certain areas too. And I'm assuming we jump on the giant lily pads. Yes, we do. So that was required to get across. Right, we're on to the next phase of things. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. We've unlocked this Zyronite industry thing, which was where the power was, but we've also now got the Zyronite forge. So let me show you. On this side of the page, as you can see, there is 4 new things. It comes unlocked already with Wuling Power, which was the Zyronite relays and pylons. We have to get the Forges of the Sky on the go. This one is just an expansion of it. And this one is the depot bus sections and depot bus ports for this. So we are going to construct a Forge of the Sky. Let's do that. And we're going to place one of these down. So I'm going to have to obviously set up some power as well. I have no idea what these are all about. So we're going to set one here anyway. And we'll get one of these power things in just to sort this baby out. And we'll open the Forge of the Sky up. So it produces Zyronite. So it needs 2 materials, stabilized carbon and clean water. This is where the water comes in. So we'll start the very first thing by getting in the water pump then. And this is the distinct difference with this region. Is that even a water pump? That wasn't a water pump. That one is. There we go. Let's get that attached. Then we need to go with water, which I'll power this up anyway. It's quite cool. So we'll send the pipes all the way across. Hopefully I'm not blocking that. There we go. And that should bring in the water for us. And we'll get a pylon in to power the water pump. And these things, like we say, you don't need to connect the power up. They just need to be within range and they act for it. So water is coming in. And then we just need to make stabilized carbon, which is... That's something we have. We do. They gave us 50 to start. That's lovely. So we'll chuck that 50 in. And we're going to get our first Zironite material out. So I need to figure out how we make that carbon then. It's got to be a mine somewhere, isn't it? That does mean from the conveyor belt we'll be able to take it in here. But I'm just going to grab the 10 that we need. I'll take that. Thank you very much. And we'll hand that over. Oh, and they're calling it Zironite, but the Zironite flow control is what we're basically creating with that is how we get rid of all this junk here to proceed, basically. So we'll repair that up and hopefully we can clear this area. There we go. Connect and sprinkle. Ah, well, this area is completely different to the rest, if I'm honest. So this stuff here, you can't basically get through it. I think we just got to clear it out, have we? Well, there we go. Look how clear that is. And it looks like there's a bunch of different resources for us clearing both of these way. And this allows us to get to the other side of there. Now, I'm just going to quickly check that side up there. Ah, there we go. So this is a unlock of a mining area of the blue stuff. That's good to know. I've managed to get myself 4 points now. So we're going to move on to a little bit of the next stuff to see what we can do. We're going to research this liquid reaction. So reactor crucible can perform reactions or dissolve solids to make solutions. Typical product, Jinkow solution made by placing clean water and Jinkow powder in the reactor crucible. When using the reactor crucible, the product outlets must be manually set to move fluid and solid material out of the facility. Fluid filler. Research this to unlock fluid mode for the filling unit. Hydroponics, planting unit. I want to do hydroponics. We'll figure that out, and I think I'll grab the fluid filler as well. So most of them, I don't need the combat ones. Logistics wise, we've already got pipe control. What's the pipe fittings? That's the splitters, bridges, and convergers. We don't need that. Fluid tank can store one type of fluid. These are really handy. So we'll go ahead and get fluid storage as well. So what we'll probably have to do is go out and get ourselves a point or two, just so I can get reactor expansion, I think. Maybe not, actually. That'd be enough to show off all these. So first things first, then this reactor crucible. Let's have a look. Okay, that's easy enough. We go into formulas here. It tells you what we need. So we're always going to need the clean water to come in. The other one is Zironite plus clean water will make liquid Zironite or whatever they want to call it. Yazen powder. All of this can be crushed down as well. All right, looks like you can split the pipe to come into here. I'm going to remove the Forge of the Sky for a minute. And we're going to play around with this. So the reactor crucible then, the water's coming in, as you can see. So product to unload goes out of this one. As we know, the formula needs to come in. So we need a Jinkow powder. So that's the shredding unit with these guys in. But I actually need to do the planting stuff, don't I? Alrighty, so from here then, we should be able to at least get some basic planting stuff crafted. So just popping back over to my other factory, and this should be pretty full. I'm just going to take all of this to get us started out the other way. So we literally just need to grab the buck flower. What I can do is actually make... So the idea is what I'm trying to do is get enough for the planting units. So I'll probably pick them up so we can get over to our new area with these. Alrighty, I'm back with some of my goodies. So let's get into our mode and set up the basic, well, seed picking and planting setup just so we can get things moving this side too. Alright, let's start with our seed picking unit into the planting unit and then planting unit back in. Then we'll get another planting unit this way and we'll get the seeds moving nice and steady here. Now I'm just going to place a reactor crucible down so I can just get my formulas up. And remember, we're looking to get one of these going. So all we need is something to create Jinkow powder. So we need to actually remove these. So just refreshing my brain. We're good with the seeds now, so I can get all this out. We just need to stop this kind of doing its thing. We have the plants, but before we put in the shredder unit, I'm going to make sure we pop up a few seeds. I've grabbed a few of the ones we might need, but we are going to get the seeds going first. Then hopefully we can make this happen. I'm actually going to get rid of this one. I'm going to stash this one a second as well. So all we need is the water to come in, otherwise these won't work. Seed picking unit does work, but the planting doesn't. So I've put down a second one. We need to bring this all the way in. Took me quite some time to figure this out, but there's a little bit on the side. Look, we were attached together. So you actually need to split these up to get the water in. So in Wuling, it requires water plus the seed to make this bad boy. So as that comes in, we should be able to get those going, get the seeds back out, and get a few of these pumping. Perfect. That's that automated then, and I can bring these out and back into my stash. Now remember, from this then, we've got these formulas to get. So I need to get a shredder to make the powder and then the Jinkiao solution. So we'll start with one shredding unit, and we'll place this one here, and out of this one into the shredding unit, and then from the shredding unit straight into there. And then we'll need fluid as well. This is where the fluid splitter, I think, is going to come in, the pipe splitter. So I should be able to split this one out and bring some water into there as well. And this formula should give everything that we need. Got the wrong item coming out of here. It actually needs to come out of the planter. So we're going to just take all of this. See, it's all trial and error. Take those out. Chuck them in there. And we need them to come out of this one into the shredder. There we go. Cool. And then that shredder will make the bits. The reactor crucible should hopefully take this one, and then we'll need out with a tank to store that. It's all making sense. So if we get a fluid tank over here as an example, I should be able to feed that out into the tank, and this will hold that extra resource that we're making. There it is, out. The powder comes. That is official. Oh man, it takes some figuring out, but when I get there, I love it, man. It's so good. So this is going to be that special powder. So we are now making a Jinkiao solution. So that product to unload would be that. So we'll say confirm that one out. Have I got that in the right one? Then this fluid container should be picking up the solution. So we'll fill up the solution in there, and that production chain is done. And literally just a little bit is all this. Oh dear. But it's all good. I think, though, that we broke this, so I've actually messed up. We'll chuck those in there to get the more seeds coming out. I actually meant to bring this around this way. I don't want to go over it. There we go. Perfect. Now it's all done. Now, up next, there is a few other recipes or formulas we can do in here. We know we're not making this ironite because I'm not actually sure where we get the carbon from just yet. However, Yanzen powder. So we actually need to copy this in and do it again, but I want to do it manually just because it starts to look funny and messy. And this particular one is going to be Yazen. Yeah, that one. It's going to be Yazen to make the Yazen seed. That should come back around. So we've got that loop going. Now I just need a bit of power over here as well. Do want to do it slightly less edited for you guys so you can kind of see, but we'll get that power in there as well. We are also now going to need more fluid. However, this one is we may need to get another fluid pump in. I'm not sure how many we're allowed to do though. I think we can keep going this way just fine. Yep. Now this one I'm going to bring just this way a moment. We're going to get one more reactor crucible on the go, and I think I'll keep this pretty much the same, except this time I should be able to put the shredder unit a little bit closer. So we'll have the shredding unit this side. So we're going to come out of this guy into the shredding unit, and then from the shredding unit into there. This formula is actually going to be the Yazen solution. So we'll need a water tank this side as well. Oh, yes, this is great. And then we'll stuff in some power here so we're all good. So water's coming in then. So let's double check. That's coming on into here. We can see that. And then I just need to split this one out to bring the water in to our friend over here as well. And there we have it. There should be continual flow. Hopefully I've got this one right, and this shredder unit should be able to do that now. And there we go. We should be seeing the Yazen powder coming out momentarily from here. And that is correct. Off, down that goes. So we should be making that fluid in a moment. And there it is, the Yazen solution being pumped out now. And then we need to select that to come out into our tank. And we are good. Let's check all this out. Oh, this is, it's quite intense. There's a lot to learn, but it is super cool. Look at this. That's amazing. So we're pumping out. It looks like you can just put water all the way along. So not a problem. I actually think I prefer this region than the other one to do it. But now you can see it all in all of its glory, and that is very cool on the side. You can see the fluids in each as it's working as well. Well, I hope that's given you a good taste of all the factory stuff available in the game, guys. Do let me know your thoughts as well. My key takeaways are, the game is obviously quite a deep RPG. It's free to play, so there is elements on how you can kind of boost within it, but there is a heavy presence of factory related stuff in it, and you need to do the factory stuff to be able to progress in the story, as well as get the better gear to fight more and stuff like that. So the whole premise is pretty damn fun. I played probably a good 20 hours into this video, give or take, so kind of take that as you will. And you saw some of the factories. I was able to get an account to show you this stuff a bit further on, but that's my key takeaways. If you like factory builders and figuring things out, and also like killing stuff with the loot you earn, it might be the game for you. Do check out all the links, guys. I'm going to say thanks once again for sponsoring the video. Really appreciate you. As always, if you haven't already, thumbs up on the video, subscribe if you aren't already, and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.